before starting this episode, I just want to say, since it's appropriate because we're on a season of Patrick Troughton, happy birthday to Patrick Troughton, who would have turned 95 on this Wednesday that passed the 25th of March. Unfortunately, he passed away a while back, but he would have been 95 this week. Yeah, now let's start with Season 5 of Doctor Who, which ran from, now I'm gonna check my computer because I don't remember, it ran from the 2nd of September 1967 up until the 1st of June 1968. It consisted of 40 episodes, out of which 18 are missing, aka 22 episodes still exist. This season has a lot more DVDs than the last season. To be precise, it has 5 DVDs that you need to pick up. One is the Lost in Time set. So let's start this season. This season started with the 37th story, which was called Tomb of the Cyberman, and the DVD. Where is that one? Pause. So, sorry about that. Okay, the thing was that the Tomb of the Cyberman, the special edition which I have, which has way better quality, it is one of the DVDs that are on Revisitations 3. So, let's pick that one out here. Tomb of the Cyberman. This is a 4-part story, the only 4-part story of this season, since the rest of the stories are 6 episodes each. And, well, basically it contains Tomb of the Cyberman. This story in particular is actually a favorite of the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith. It's a really nice story, well, whatever. It has a lot of comedy. It's an interesting story about this tomb where Cybermen are frozen and they wake them up and, well, a lot of stuff happen. Pretty much it. Story number 37. Story number 38 is called The Abominable Snowman. Abominable Snowman. And it had the Yeti, which also known as Great Intelligence, which actually was featured in the Snowman in the current series, I think. Not the current, the 7th. Yeah, the current series, but the 7th series with the 11th Doctor. And only episode 2 exists, which can be found on the Lost in Time box set. Yep. Next one is The Ice Warriors, which has, well, the first time the Ice Warriors are featured in the series. And what's interesting about this one, whoops, stuff are falling down here. I'll just put this one in here. Shit! Yeah, shit went down, so I just decided to do a sort of jump cut there instead. So, The Ice Warriors, 6-parter, out of which all 6 episodes doesn't exist, but it's released on DVD since episode 2 and 3 are animated. Also, there's the Telesnap version of it for episode 2 and 3, which is about 25 minutes long, and that Telesnap was actually released when The Ice Warriors was first released on VHS. Yeah, and well, that's pretty much it about this one. Yeah. That is story number 39. So, story number 40, which is one of those which exists in every way, in, yeah, every episode exists of the enemy of the world. And what's interesting about this one is that it features Patrick Troughton versus Patrick Troughton, because Patrick Troughton played a character called Salamander also in this story, which is a doppelganger of the Doctor, which makes pretty interesting. For example, the 2nd Doctor impersonates Salamander because Salamander is trying to take over the world. Yeah, I really like the story. It's I think it's one of my favorites. When this one came out back in, October 2013, because the entire story was found. It's just amazing. Previously, actually, one of the episodes existed. I don't remember exactly which one, but let me just check here. Episode 3 existed before on the Lost in Time box set, but now every episode exists. Pretty nice. Yeah. One of my favorite stories. So, next up we have the last DVD for this season, The Web of Fear. So, The Web of Fear featured the return of the Abominable Snowman, aka the Great Intelligence, and also it featured the return of now actually the Brigadier, because it was the Colonel Lethbridge Stewart back in let's see, which story was it? It was back in... No, wait! Isn't this the first story which is featured? I think it is, yeah. It's the first story that features Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, but here is the Colonel Lethbridge Stewart, not Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. I'm sorry for messing all that up, but here we have the Brigadier for the first time, but it was the Brigadier back then. So, yeah. Nice story. 6-parter, out of which 5 episodes exist. Episode 3 on this DVD is only a telesnap. There is no animated reconstruction of that episode. What's also interesting about this one, along with The Enemy of the World, is that neither of these contains specials for the episodes. These 2 stories were found back in October 2013 and are the latest ones to have been found out of the missing episodes. And this one just has a trailer, and this one has a coming soon trailer for The Underwater Menace, which says that The Underwater Menace was going to be released in 2014, which we know it wasn't. So, story number 40 doesn't have any extras, story number 41 doesn't have any extras, although on this, let's put them right here, Lost in Time box set, we have actually, for The Web of Fear, we have the commentary track for episode 1, which was the only episode that existed back when this one was released. So by owning the Lost in Time box set, you actually have an extra which isn't featured on the DVDs. Next story, story number 42, Fury of the Deep, which has the premiere of the Sonic Screwdriver. 6-parter, no episodes exists, although some sort of clips exist from it, since when it was viewed in, I think, Australia, the censor board there cut out some parts of the episode which they thought was too terrifying. So those exists on the Lost in Time box set. Yeah. And lastly, we have The Wheel in Space. 6-parter. And also, I forgot one thing. Back in Fury of the Deep actually features the last episode of Victoria Waterfield, because she leaves the Doctor in that story. So for the last season, by the way, we had Jamie and the Doctor along with Victoria for the entire season up until this. And so, in the last story, The Wheel of Space, we have the companion Zoe, which she lasted throughout the rest of the Second Doctor's era. And episode 3 and 6 exists on Lost in Time box set. I think there are some commentary tracks for it as well. And also it features the Cybermen, just like the first story. So this story is quite, this season in entirety is quite interesting, because it has both 2 Cybermen stories and 2 stories containing the Abominable Snowman. So they are a bit repetitive in that way. And as you see, a lot of episodes exist, not all, as I already told you, but at least it's quite nicer than the last season, out of which like 10-ish episodes still exist. Yeah, pretty nice season. I really like the Brigadier, and so Web of Fear is a nice story, and also I really like this one, The Enemy of the World. So that's it for season 5. The next episode I'm going to talk about something else, but the next episode of this DVD run through, we're going to talk about the 6th and final season of Patrick Troughton's era. So, quick recap here. We had story number 37, Tomb of the Cybermen, which is featured on the Revelations 3 box set if you want the special edition. If you want a regular edition, you can buy it separately. We have, by the way, on Revisitations 3 you also get the 3 Doctor special edition and Robots of Death special edition, so really pick it up, because 3 Doctor special edition, really nice one. Then we have story number 38, Abominable Snowman, episode 2 on Lost in Time box set. Then we have story number 39, The Ice Warriors, with animated reconstructions. Let's see, here it is. Then we have story number 40, Enemy of the World. Story number 41, Web of Fear, episode 3, Telesnap. Story number 42, Nothing Exists Except Some Censored Clips on the Lost in Time box set. And lastly, on the Lost in Time box set again, we have The Wheel in Space, episode 3 and 6. So pretty nice in a way that we have a lot of stories in a row. I mean, we have Ice Warriors, The Enemy of the World, The Web of Fear, they're all in a row. So you get sort of continuity there. And otherwise, of course, there are some reconstructions, telesnaps that aren't officially released but exist all over the internet. Yeah, so that's all for season 5. I'll see you in a week with another episode of Doctor Who Devotee. Yeah, adios.